This is the Newsroom.
This is the Newsroom for Thursday, April 3, 2025. We're broadcasting to you on E1, SKAR TV NTN, and TARZEE TV in Bartica. In the headlines, the PNCR case on residency requirements for voting thrown out by the Chief Justice. President Ali gets prestigious Global Leadership Award. Guyana in robust push to develop technical education, local workforce, and in sport, first ever Vitz Cup Championship set to sizzle at South Dakota. And opposing coaches reflect on under-17 inter-county successes and failures. With the news, I'm Kurt Campbell. We're glad you can join us. First up, Acting Chief Justice Roxanne George on Thursday ruled that there is no residency requirement for Guyanese to be registered and ultimately to vote in the country's elections. As such, the application was dismissed in the High Court. Isanella Patwa tells us more.
An application to the High Court that sought a declaration that mandates verifying that an address exists and that an individual lives at or is connected to that address to be eligible to vote in Guyana was dismissed on Thursday. The case centered on the National Registration Amendment Act of 2022 and was filed by the People's National Congress Reform PNCR Chief Election Scrutineer Carol Smith Joseph. The case challenged GCAM's house-to-house registration process. The ruling that there is no need for a residency requirement to vote applied to both the regional and general elections. The court heard that Joseph, who was represented by attorney Dexter Todd, was concerned that some addresses are abandoned buildings, places where no one has lived for years. Some addresses exist, but no one knows the person who claimed to be living there, and some addresses are generic, like a name of a village or area. The applicant believed that these occurrences contaminated the National Register of Registrants list, but the Chief Justice stated that no evidence was provided by the applicant to back her claims. The applicant also failed to specify how the verification of addresses process should be conducted. The Chief Justice questioned what factors are to be considered in deciding that an address claim is not acceptable. The Chief Justice also questioned how a connection to an address is to be determined and who determines this, and further determines that an address that simply names a village is not acceptable, referring to persons who live in Amerindian villages who do not have a lot number. Further, in her ruling, Chief Justice George emphasized that the Guyana Elections Commission GCAM cannot refuse registration based on address verification concerns. Specifically for regional elections, the residence for voting purposes will be determined solely by the address given at registration, the Chief Justice ruled. In addition to that, even if an address is later deemed abandoned, or if there is a perception of no connection between the registrant and the address, the individual's registration remains intact. Moreover, a registrant's name cannot be removed from the voter list unless the individual requests a change of address, is deceased, or has been disqualified. The PNCR, in a statement following the ruling, said the decision will be appealed. Meanwhile, Attorney General Anil Nandlal, who argued against Smith Joseph's case, said the case was an attempt to disenfranchise Guyanese and violate the doctrine of separation of powers. For Newsroom, Isanella Patwa.
Thank you, Isanella. We tell you now that President Dr. Irfan Ali received the prestigious Global Leadership Award for Open Innovation 2024 from the University of California, Berkeley on Thursday. The Guyanese head of state was nominated for this award because of his commitment to the use of technology and innovative business models to expand the country's markets. Strategies were researched carefully and documented. President Ali received the award at the ceremony held at the NASA Ames Research Center, where the Berkeley Innovation Forum 2025 is currently being held. Several other distinguished persons, from former United States President Barack Obama to business tycoon Warren Buffett, have received this award too. Minister of Human Services and Social Security Dr. Vindhya Prasad strongly condemned those who use children as leverage during conflicts with their partners, describing such actions as unacceptable, inexcusable and inhumane. Minister Prasad was referring to the two recent instances where two young children were video recorded being abused by their parents in attempts to get at each other's partners. Two deeply troubling videos were posted on social media, sparking outrage. In both instances, the perpetrators were arrested and the children were taken to safer environments.
I could not wrap my head, I still can't. When I'm calling Ms. Gavaya to see that people in relationships are leveraging their children, using them as tools, and just be violent with them to get at a partner. That's unacceptable, inexcusable, inhumane. We must tell people if relationships are unhealthy, there is no shame in getting out of them. That is a taboo, because if you speak to people, they feel that they're being judged. They feel they failed somehow when they leave a relationship. When we look at why women stay in relationships, there's so many reasons. We try to tackle some through providing empowerment classes and courses at no cost to women, with classrooms filled with only women who have experienced violence. There would be a new protocol where I will be meeting with stakeholders, convening a meeting with all stakeholders so that we can continue to strengthen our response to all these cases. But it does not look good when we as a people either condone some of these things, blame each other, vilify each other. What are we doing to help?
Close to 2 years ago, a young father of 3 fell from a scaffold while working at Turkine. Due to the fall, Rabindra Chandradat, called Ravi, damaged his spinal cord and became paralyzed from his waist down. The man became confined to a bed and faced a number of challenges. Last month, Chandradat fell ill and was rushed to the Georgetown Public Hospital. He succumbed on March 31. Now his family is faced with numerous challenges.
You fall on a scaffold like Giffland. Right, you do construction work. And he damaged his spinal cord. And this a 1 year, 11 months, right? 1 year, 12 months. His fathers look after him. His fathers gotta go to work. He just look after him, get up like 4 o'clock in the morning, wake you up 6 o'clock, clean his skin, change his pampers, tidy him, and he just go by Sweetie and Sonny and buy his tea and give him, and then he just go to work. Take him just, and he say he feel nice, and he call. Well, his father wasn't home, his father been at work. And me, he call me, he take his clinic card, one his son went there with him, he get collect his clinic card, because his father care my Georgetown clinic too. So he get the number, he call the ambulance, he call him in the Georgetown hospital and send the ambulance for him. So come he go in there. Then care of one surgery, said I'm going to look after the bed sore. And when I came this Saturday for the surgery, Sunday come out back. Again, Sunday, and the father go and see him Sunday, and he talk. And tell the father you want coconut water. So, and the father go and buy coconut water and buy soup and so for him. And you tell the father, cry and tell the father go look here. And the father say, yeah, we go look you. And Monday, father go Monday morning, and Monday afternoon when he go at the hospital, he stop that.
When the newsroom return, we tell you about Guyana's robust push to develop technical education and the local workforce. Welcome back. This is the newsroom. To enhance technical and vocational education, Guyana plans to establish a new sector skills councils. This is a strategic measure to bridge the gap between TVET and the demands of the country's rapidly developing economy.
The role of technical and vocational education is now more important than ever because of the great demand for skilled labor to support Guyana's rapidly developing economy. And so a national TVET policy was established. In that policy, there are various objectives and strategic priorities, including the establishment of sector skills councils. So what is the skills councils all about? Jamaica was the first Caribbean country to establish a sector skills council. That body successfully supported quality and relevant skills development across various sectors. Now Guyana hopes to adopt a similar model. This venture will guarantee the smooth transition of TVET graduates from training into proper jobs or self-employment roles. Right now, the Council for TVET organizes group leads to develop and validate occupational standards on a request basis, aimed at meeting sector-specific skills demand. The government wants to make this service more efficient and responsible. So the Sector Skills Councils, which comprises of private sector entities, will serve as the liaison between training providers and employers, ensuring that the skills imparted are both relevant and aligned with industry requirements. The core function of a Sector Skills Council is to determine the specific skills needed within an industry and then work in collaboration with training providers to tailor training programs accordingly. Given that private sector employers face both domestic and international competitive pressures, along with regulatory challenges, they are well positioned to provide an up-to-date account of workforce skill requirements. Once established, the Sector Skills Council in Guyana should perform a range of functions in the realm of skills training, education, and workforce development. It is also expected to serve as a negotiating forum for employers and trade unions, and finally lead the establishment of a skills development fund or training levy in Guyana. For Newsroom, Isanella Patwell.
Minister of Public Works Juan Edghill on Tuesday evening warned contractors and engineers that they would be sanctioned for unsatisfactory work. During his visit to Region 10, Upper Demerara Berbice, the minister conducted checks at several road projects in the region. Following that, he issued a stern warning on a radio program, responding to a question on air about recontracting about the consequences for shoddy or delayed work.
We will not pay for sloppy work. We will not pay for work that is not acceptable. Right. All these concrete roads must achieve a PSI of 4,500. Yeah. These roads are being tested by our labs before payments are made, and we have said to our engineers and clerk of works, you sign off on projects that are not good quality, you're gonna face the consequences, because you're out there to ensure compliance and to ensure value for money.
25 out of the 500 houses that are being built at Yarrow Cabra Linden Susdyke Highway are expected to be completed by July this year. Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crowell made this disclosure during a visit to the site where he inspected works. The houses are being built under the government's Homestead program and is aimed at assisting single mothers with home ownership.
What we have right now is the first 25 homes have commenced. You'll recognize that they have to do the foundation, and that's what they're working on, and then they move to the prefab stages. We have done, by and large, the land clearance to allow for the commencement of the homes, and that's why they have now commenced. We have started a new well for this area, and then you also saw, when you're coming in, you saw the electricity access to the area. It's already to the area, so we now have to work on the internal aspect. So there are a number of simultaneous activities happening to ensure that we can move this project as quickly as possible. And so you would have remember His Excellency would have announced an initiative, a 500 homes initiative, that takes into consideration what is called Homestead. So you have the homes, and then you also have to cater for the shade houses that is to be utilized as an economic venture. So that will be used to be able for those beneficiaries to pay back if it's for their mortgage, etc. So it's targeting single women, And then the final aspect of what we're doing, which we have already awarded the first set of contracts to about $163 million, that's the internal roads for this area. So everything is happening at the same time. And we want to, the contractor will speak a little in terms of how they'll go about doing setting up the houses. But I also want to say that we are very pleased at where we are at now. We would have had some initial hiccup in terms of the startup, but already the contractor has shipped the necessary materials that is required for their home. So it means that from henceforth, it will move very quickly. We have a list of the potential beneficiaries that we are engaging to move on towards to the bank, and then for pre-qualification. That is also active, and as you'll recognize, because of the cluster in which we are targeting the highway and the Upper East Bank.
Residents of the Pomeroon River in Region 2 were encouraged to focus more on agriculture. By growing more food, Minister of Amerindian Affairs Pauline Sukai said opportunities are increased and the produce can be supplied beyond the communities and even to the Caribbean. Sukai spoke to residents during a recent visit to the region.
Our government is promoting food security. That means this village must focus on enhancing agriculture. We can say we're food secure, we get food to eat every day. But it is not only about the village food security, it's about the nation food security. It's about adding to governments and national revenue. Because if we grow more food, we may probably be able to find market for it. If we grow good products and we produce good products, we may have the opportunity to enter into the international market, which is the other stage our government planned to go. We plan to be a food supplier for the Caribbean or CARICOM countries and further afield. Because when you go to the US, there's some West Indian markets that sell things that come from Guyana. So the potential, the opportunity is there. We have the land, we have the people, but we have to have the discipline too. So one of the focus of this government is food security. And I know that the Ministry of Agriculture through the region and elsewhere have been putting attention in Region 2 to enhance, to have more production.
Still to come, children with autism are celebrated. Welcome back. This is the newsroom. Autism affects how people interact with others, shaping how they communicate, learn, and behave. There is some stigma surrounding autism in those who are affected, but Stacia Ramsindo, the mother of a child with autism, emphasizes that each person has their strengths. She was at the Ptolemy Reed Rehabilitation Center's Autism Awareness Day sports event on Wednesday. The event, held under the theme Positive Autistic Identity, created a space where children could thrive, showcasing their strengths in an atmosphere of encouragement and inclusivity. Ramsindo and other parents cheered as participants engaged in various activities, demonstrating teamwork, determination, and confidence. For her and many others, it is important to recognize that autism is not a limitation but a unique way of experiencing the world.
I'm a teacher by profession, so from a very early age, I could have recognized that something was off with my son, right? However, I read about, different disability, learning disability and stuff like that, and then I came to the conclusion that he may be autistic. At one point, I was hopeful, right? Because they said some children's speech comes later on. So I said, you know what, maybe I should just use the wait and watch method, just wait and hope that language develops, right? So I put him into nursery school, I registered him into nursery school, and then I thought that maybe with friends, language will eventually come, socializing with friends, but nothing, right? That is when I decided that it's time for me to, do something different. So I took him to GPHC and I met Dr. October there, and she would have confirmed my suspicion. She diagnosed him with, saying that, well, he's showing all of the signs. It was sad for me because, I have other kids, and then now this is a whole new challenge then, because by 1 year plus, all of my kids were already talking, by 3, they were potty trained. Now with Aziel, that's his name, it's a whole different story. Autism does not mean that my child is stupid, and this is something that I want to reiterate because I find it happening in schools, right? Autistic students are not, autistic children diagnosed with autism, they're not stupid. They can learn, right? They can learn, they just learn differently. The general public has to be educated. And I think once they are educated, it is going to come naturally because we all have instinct. All of us, most of us, we have kids, right? Like I could tell you, my son, he makes a funny noise, and all autistic children, a lot of them, right? Once they're not conversational, they would make these songs. And from time to time when I, catch public transportation, like you would see adults, and it hurts me. They would turn in the bus and they're looking and, they would whisper in each other's ears and they're giggling, and it bothers me. I would love if everyone can look at these autistic children and see the beauty in them, right? See them for who they are. They're unique and they're special, and allow them, right? Allow them to grow and develop on their own. Don't try to suck them in to a system that we already have established, because they come with unique gifts, unique qualities, and unique skill. They see things different. So let us allow them, let us nurture them to develop into who they're truly meant to be.
Distribution of the one-off cash grant to support parents of newborn babies commenced in Region 10, Upper Demerara Berbice on Tuesday. Minister of Public Works Juan Edghill, who was at the time conducting a 2-day visit in the region, in his remarks at the distribution ceremony, reminded parents and caregivers that this initiative will help to cushion the expenses associated with raising a child. The program is expected to cost the government approximately $1.3 billion annually.
If you take that cash grant, depending on what are your preferences, and you invest some of it in a mutual fund, by the time that child ready to enter the world of work or to get married, you will see how that money will grow by way of investments. And all the measures that are in the budget that we are celebrating families. This year, in our budget measures, We have not only increased the income tax threshold, which means you'll have more disposable income, but you are able to get rebate on every child. If you have a second job, you are getting major tax breaks. All of that is a way of recognizing not just the celebration of life or the celebration of motherhood, but a celebration of families.
When the newsroom returns, the financial, weather and bird reports along with sport news with Avinash Ramzan. That's it for me, Kurt Campbell. Take care.
Welcome back to Newsroom. Now for a look at what's happening in sport. We're starting off with some cricket news. Keep it simple and have fun. That was the game plan by Demerara, who copped the Guyana Cricket Board's Under-17 Inter-County 50-over title with a clinical win over Berbice in the final round at the LBI ground on Wednesday. A 4-wicket haul from the off-spinner Dave Mahabir restricted Berbice to 124 all-out, with the skipper Romario Ramdihal following up his previous scores of 50 and 65 with an unbeaten 43. Shamar Apple then struck 61, his second half-century of the tournament, to lead Demerara to victory with 16 overs to spare. Demerara's coach Kumar Bishundayal was understandably elated with the success of the team, which finished unbeaten with 3 wins from 3 to lift the title. It's victory here for Demerara today. Just talk us through today's game and what you told the guys before you went out there.
It was a good game today. Earlier spoke to the guys, just keeping it simple, go about having fun with the game and keeping it simple all the time.
All right, 3 wins out of 3. What would you say were the hallmark of this team?
We had a total team effort. The guys with the bat, they had partnerships. In the first game, we had some good partnership, making 290 hard. Next game against Eskimo, 160, 170 hard, and then today bowling out Berbice early. So everybody played a part. All the guys played well. The bowling and the batting department clicked good. The fielders also clicked well.
Today, Berbice batting first. What total are you looking to restrict them to?
Anything under 130, that was we looking at as low as possible, and the guys ended up and gave us 125, and was pretty pleased and pretty happy with the effort from the guys. The bases up front started well, and then Dave in the middle come and finish it off nice. And that was a total team effort, and the guys played really good.
Award on Shamar Apple.
Shamar in the dressing room is very excited. His talent is an exciting talent going forward. His batting has improved over the years, and today he batted real maturity. The game against SKAR, he played a rash shot and out, but today we tell him make sure he bat to the end and stick to his stars, and for that little instinct he have of hitting the ball. But in the end, he played the tournament, most runs in the tournament, so all good youth coming going forward.
Meanwhile, the Berbice coach Amir Rahman has blamed the batting for his side's second place finish in the tournament, which unbeaten Demerara won on Wednesday. Berbice, who won their opening 2 games before losing to Demerara in the final round, failed to bat out their 50 overs on all 3 occasions, being dismissed for 192, 157 and 124. Skipper Romario Ramdihal was a lone ranger for Berbice, scoring 158 runs, the second most in the competition behind Shamar Apple, with 250s in 3 innings. Vishal Williams was the next best batter for Berbice with 38 runs overall. Reflecting on the tournament, Rahman also highlighted some of the positives on the bowling side, with the leg spinner Fiaz Baksh copping the most wickets and speedster Micah Amsterdam impressing with his pace. Amir finishing second best here in the Under-17 Inter-County Championship. Just reflect on today and what you guys could have probably done better.
Well, one of the main challenge for us this entire tournament was that we failed to bat our overs, because the first game we batted 37 and next 35, today was 27. And I think that is where our biggest challenge came. You know, for the last few weeks, we were affected a lot by rain and stuff in Berbice. So I know it affected some batting time for our boys. But that basically is where our struggle came this entire tournament.
And on the individual side, we know all about Romario Ramdihal and what he brings to the table. But 2 guys really impressed with the ball, Micah Amsterdam and Fiaz Baksh. Award on those 2.
Oh, definitely. Well, Michael is pure express pace, you know, and not only express pace, but he has great control. You know, he's among great people such as Niall Smith, Romario Shepherd, and his cousin Shamar. So he got good mentorship for him, right? Fiaz Baksh, well, he got a great mentor, and it's showing here today. He's from the same club with Devendra Bishu, and he was phenomenal in this entire tournament. His line and length was top class, you know, and I just hope he goes back and he continues to work hard on his game, because I see him as a big asset once, you know, the Guyana team is selected to go regionals.
And finally, Romario Ramdihal, as we mentioned, missed out on a 3rd consecutive half-century, but certainly a player of pure class.
Oh, without a doubt, without proven tremendously, you know. And he has gained so much confidence that he told me when he was with the Guyana senior trials that he worked so much with batters and bowlers there, and he came back and he literally dominated this entire tournament for Barbies. He was more of a one-man show for us with the bat.
Ronaldo Ali Mohammed and Matthew Nandu played key roles on Thursday as Guyana Harpy Eagles trail Leeward Islands Hurricanes by 5 runs at stumps on day 2 at Warner Park. Ali Mohammed took 5 for 91 from 19.3 overs as Hurricanes, resuming on 143 for 4 in response to the Harpy Eagles' 193, were bowled out for 335 to take a lead of 142 on first innings. Niall Smith picked up 3 wickets and Kimo Paul 2 as Casey Carty with 92, Jamar Hamilton with 80, and Michael Louis 73 scored fifthers for Hurricanes. Harpy Eagles then closed on 137 for 1 with Nandu unbeaten on 53, his 4th first-class 50, which has so far spanned 127 deliveries and included 5 fours. The informed Kevlin Anderson is unbeaten on 31 from 55 balls with 4 fours. Opener Raymond Perez missed out on a 50, falling for 49 of 73 with 6 fours and a 6. Perez and Nandu featured in an opening stand of 78 before Rakeem Cornwall removed Perez. With 2 days remaining, the Harpy Eagles will be pushing for an outright win to remain in the hunt for a successful title defense. Still in cricket, Darren Sammy, who officially began his tenure as the West Indies men's all-format coach on April 1st, is set to revolutionize the team's selection process with a data-driven and role-oriented approach. Effectively functioning as the lead selector, Sammy will utilize comprehensive data derived from talent and performance reports from the 6 traditional territories that comprise West Indies cricket. This new selection process aims to move beyond subjective assessments, relying on concrete data to identify the most suitable players for each role within the team. While Sammy, as head coach, will retain the final say in selection, a senior talent manager will play a crucial role in gathering and analyzing data from the territories, providing Sammy with detailed insights to inform his decisions. During a recent press conference, Sammy emphasized that both data analysis and practical cricketing knowledge will be integral to the selection process. Sammy's first challenge in this dual role will be the upcoming white ball tour of the United Kingdom, commencing May 21st in Ireland.
There's an element of watching the game as it evolves. When we talk about being data driven, it's all based in the preparation. You prepare, you know your position, you know the conditions, you know what the data collected states supposed to happen. However, when you do that, when the game starts, you have your plan A, plan B. It is important that you give that plan a chance. And with data, you also need the roles being executed. It's all good to have all the data, but you need the personnel to fulfill that role. That will enable the data we've collected to be successful. That's where performance comes in. So whatever we do in all formats, it will be based because we have enough evidence and concrete evidence that this is what is going to work. And we prepare accordingly versus the opposition, like I said, on conditions. And if that means we got to play a special person because this opposition requires us to do that and the data backs it up, that is what's going to happen. However, you don't take out the instinctive element of the game as well. We will find a really fine balance in our processes and how we do things.
Now, defending champions Kolkata Knight Riders secured a comfortable 80-run win over Sunrisers Hyderabad, who slipped to the bottom of the IPL table. Set a target of 201, Sunrisers' powerful but inconsistent top order failed as they slipped to 9 for 3 and then 66 for 5 before being bowled out for 120 in 16.4 overs. Australia's Travis Head fell for 4 from the second ball of the chase, while Abhishek Sharma and Ishan Kishan were both dismissed for 2. Sunrisers had a glimmer of hope with the destructive South African batter Heinrich Klaassen in the middle, but his dismissal for 33 in the 15th over all but secured a vital win for KKR, who were bottom of the table going into the match. KKR chose Seema Vairab Arora as their impact player, and he starred with figures of 3 for 29, including the wickets of Head and Klaassen, while the spinner Varun Chakravarti took 3 for 22. KKR's 200 for 6 came from a late flourish of 78 runs scored from the final overs of their innings. Venkatesh Iyer struck 60 from 29 with 7 fours and 3 sixes, while Rinku Singh made an unbeaten 32 from 17. IPL action continues on Friday with Lucknow Super Giants against Mumbai Indians from 10 hours. Now, momentum is building ahead of the first ever Vitz Cup Championship set for April 27th at the South Dakota circuit. The Vitz Cup will be part of round 1 of the Circuit Racing Championship coordinated by the Guyana Motor Racing and Sports Club. Here's what competitors had to say during a practice session at the circuit recently. Enjoy. See you back here tomorrow.
So you no competition yet. Troy ain't coming out yet. I tried calling out Troy, but he ain't coming out.
What about Raymond?
Oh, well, when he come out, you know what's going on.
Bonus today is from Vortex. This man carry fast and straight. I don't know what cheating parts he got there, or if you can pass scrutineer or what.
No, this is not the problem, you know. It's just the track, the tarmac, my side today, that's why. I get more grip on them thing today, that's why. No, we put back in my
Can check the engine for me?
Yeah. Yo, you can't do that. Everybody can check. You cannot be doing that, my friend.
Everybody can check.
We pay you, man.
Do it, do it.
The way they were ready would be to win. But, you know, they got some stiff competition to worry about. I got called over them, but Vortex, we got Busai active, we got some people to worry about, but the goal is to go, perform, and to be the best.
Well, on race day, I know we got a lot of competitors, you know, and I try to do my best and push as much as I can push and see what space I can. They're looking for at least fourth release and enjoy the day.
So I'm here hoping to work along with you guys to make everybody equal and no cheating. A man who cheat in racing and win is nobody at all.
Alright, well, come up today to see the competition. One of our cars that finished but we take a look at Busai up there. The pace is a bit off, but we regret it. I got a far way to go. I got to find about like 12 seconds to be competitive with these guys. But I hope GT Tuners in there so far behind in time too.
We call it out on GT Tuners. We know we got a little grudge, so looking forward for the challenge on race day.
The competition from others, it's stiff, but we're here to compete. GT Tuners might be the only person that might be able to beat their race day. That's definitely the main competition. We got some real fast drivers here. I know Steven might win all the race.